Hey, Vinny Melkus here. I actually just wanted a couple minutes. I was going to show you one of the most underrated shallow crankbaits in the market right now. Of course, you've probably heard, Strike King stuff, maybe even the S Crank by Megabass. But this one kind of goes under the radar, and I almost, it almost was elusive to myself until I found it. It's been really effective, especially on those clear bodies of water. And coming up this fall, fishing any clear bodies of water, this is an excellent shallow crankbait, and it is the Sonic Slide. If you are not familiar with that, the Sonic Slide, and I'm going to pull this thing out right here, and I think it's the S Crank that the Megabass has as well, and it's a little different. Of course, the S Crank is really good at getting around cover. It has that hook that's actually placed, the hook placement's up on the top of the rear here. On this one, it's not. This is more for your sparsely, covering water and sparse cover. And especially in our, clear water reservoirs out west, this is awesome. So if you take a look at that, this is actually a gizzard shad. It's just an amazing profile. I also like these hooks comparative to the, you get the 110s with the L barbs, which I hate L barb hooks with a passion. I've lost so many fish on those things, there's probably people who disagree with me, but anyway. So let's talk about this. This Sonic Slide, as you can see, the profile is just awesome. It's actually for the fall. This would be like a mature shad. Or even a juvenile gizzard shad, which this is a gizzard shad color, but you have thread fins that are roughly this size that have recently spawned, the ones that are left, and then you have a lot of the the smaller ones. But if you take a look at this bait, look at the profile. It's really thin. It's almost like this would be a good early spring bait as well. This one in particular, it's STW, so it's silent. It's awesome, like I said, awesome clear. It's a good finesse crankbait. You go behind people that are chucking those things with the big knockers on them, and it's going to be good. I love the eyes, always the Megabass eyes. Now here's another thing. So if you're used to throwing shallow crankbaits with the circuit board there, so there's a number of them on the market, or just plastic. Now these things, they can snap off, or they're a little more flexible, but check out this. So they have the plastic that actually protrudes out and actually gives a little more stability. Like I said, the hooks are good. If you look at this too, check out that gill plate. It's actually indented here, and what that does is that as that water comes across there, it creates a little bit of oscillation there from the water, a little bit of disturbance. It helps fish find it, but then it's also, it's a finessey thing. It's silent. You're throwing it out there, and you're creating a little bit of disturbance, and then the profile is just amazing. So for like me going to Lake Mead here soon, I'm probably going to try checking this around a little bit. I go to places like Powell, Havasu. Also, these places have threadfin and gizzard shad, so you're seeing in the fall, like this time, where you have a lot of the slurping action, because you have a number of tiny shad that are just becoming big enough to be targeted. But then you also have the mature thread fins that are about this size, and then some juvenile gizzards that are also this size as well. And that tends to be, if a fish is not going to pass that, they might be locked in on those little ones. But if you have something that really looks like those mature ones, they won't pass that up. This, I didn't talk about it, but it runs, I'd imagine on 10-pound test, this thing's going to run 5 to 6 feet. Of course, like I said, in those clear bodies of water, especially with the water temperatures, these fish will come and chase this thing. From what I've seen so far. But this is the Sonic Slide by Megabass. It's going to be one of my go-tos, especially going into clear water, and then also early spring. It's very similar to a flat side, and I just love it. It's a great bait. Anyway, check out their, I think they're like $19.99. Like, I'm not sponsored by Megabass or anything, but I happen to love some of their products, especially, like I always said, the Vision 110's awesome, and then some of their crankbaits are awesome. And then some of my old school crankbaits that are not being made by some companies like Lucky Craft or whatnot. Megabass is actually starting to make some baits that are very similar, that are awesome. So I used to throw a lot of finessey cranks, and one of them, which I'm not gonna even say because I still got a couple of them and I'm gonna be fishing with them, but they were made by a company, and then they were discontinued, and it's really hard to find them. But Megabass is actually coming up with some stuff that's very similar. Not straight up on point on it, but very similar. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.